Hello, Ma, can you hear me? Hello, can I
Uh,
be heard?
yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I guess we are live now, so you guys can proceed. We'll be at the backstage now.
Okay, so we have two more people that were going to join the call. I thought we were waiting for them first. Okay. All right. So, well, I'm sure the other two folks will join us in a moment.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. We can't see you yet, but we can
Okay.
hear you.
You can't see me?
No, not yet.
Amazing. I'm not sure what's going on here, but I can see myself and I can see you. Let me check.
Okay. All right, we can see you now. We can see you now.
Okay, thank you. Everyone, sorry for the heat. Hopefully, we'll get Kechi to join us. And we are live on the Real Mom's Real Story Maiden edition of our TIP USA pre-summit party. And who is excited? Who is excited? Can I see your fire emojis? Who is excited? So we're going to be honest. We're going to get honest with how things are really over here, about the highs, the lows, the middle mercy periods of raising kids, in a new culture. And, you'll be wondering, how are we surviving, and how do you think we should be thriving, actually? So here today, this is part of our series for our for our summit, which is scheduled for July 12th. I'm sure you should be there on July 12th by MD. All roads leads to Gambriel's, Maryland, July 12th. And this is part of our walk up to our Maiden Summit, which is going to be amazing, with our coach and the Gov and all the guests you can think of. Okay. So here today on this, my name is Noelum Anyebo, call me Noni, and I'll be your host on this TV show. And here with me are
Jagola.
And
okay.
my name is Olubumi Ogunbayo.
Thank you very much. So we'll be digging deep into something every parent faces, more so every parent faces abroad. And if you want to japa or you want to know how to thrive here, this is a show for everyone to So I'm survival strategy. And we'll be featuring our very own host, Ms. Alno Akin Dagula. Sorry if I pronounce your name, I'm very sorry. We've been a TIP in our circle here since 2021, and she's been an amazing source of the inner circle here, and has rightfully earned her name as the Asian Yadas that we call them. And so we welcome you, Ma, and we say thank you for giving us an insight, giving us an opportunity to see what your insight looks like. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. So without wasting much time, we'll be trying to dig deep into, how we raising kids in the diaspora, particularly in the US, and how it works with a shifting system and the way things, running from morning till the day goes down, how do you cope? So let's go back to your life before you joined the TIP. What would your typical day look like?
Thank you so much. I don't know if it's from my end, but it's been dragging a little bit, but I heard your question. I don't know if you guys can hear me very clearly.
We can hear you, ma'am.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. So, also I wanted to appreciate, all your hard work, all your labor of love, and actually really appreciate Coach Wendy and the entire TIP team. It couldn't have been without them on this journey. I don't know what else to classify, how to classify that, but it's been good through TIP all the way. That's the summary of it. So life before TIP, uh, luckily for me, my first child was a little bit still very young when I first came in contact with TIP. But then I didn't know the import of 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 my role as the parent. I just, how we just take on these roles. Okay, after college, you graduate, you serve, you marry, and the next thing, 9 months, everybody's asking if it's not coming, just start having children. So, we're just following that flow. But I can also say I was lucky to have come from a background where I had, knowledgeable parents, although they were very strict. So we added some mix of all that knowledge and good upbringing with some of the trauma, which is general for every Nigerian, I believe, because I usually say if you are from Nigeria, automatically you have trauma. you have, you have a traumatic background. So either way, on a lighter mood now. Yeah, so before TIP, I wasn't self-aware at all. I was just moving, like just coach will say sometimes that, you're just moving, without direction. So I was just moving, I was just doing things, as it came. There wasn't so much of any intention put into anything. And so I started noticing the difference between my son, my little son at that time, and the Caucasian kids around us, especially when we're at the park or we're at an event. I was noticing that when they say, come, their kids come immediately. When they say play is over, it's over immediately. But for me, it was different. I have to say it many times. I have to sometimes even almost drag before, so I was doing it the way we were raised, and I wasn't seeing the results. And unfortunately for me as well, I didn't know I wasn't seeing results until I started being in some spaces and somebody was saying precisely Finn. I used to be a member back then. I don't know if it's still on Facebook. There was this group Finsters and something like that. So I started hearing the lady say, "Oh, our kids don't ask for McDonald's. They don't do fast food. There's no yelling. There's no eating." I'm like, wait, the Nigerian parents, there's no eating. There's no yelling. I'm like, what's going on? But I also knew I've read books in the past and knew that these things are not normal, but it became normal because that was how we grew up. So that was how life was before TIP.
Thank you, ma'am. And yeah, I just noticed that Noya went off the call, but I'm sure she will join us back again soon. So thank you so much for that. And you're so right. I mean, those of us who grew up Nigerian or African or from some part of the diaspora or the other, we tend to say that yes, we've come with some scars or some trauma from our upbringing,
Mhm.
and not because our parents meant to do us harm, but because they did
Mhm.
not know, they did not have the knowledge. And that is why, we have privilege in that sense right now. So thank you for sharing that background with us. And so as a follow-up to that, um, what did you try on your own before discovering TIP? So when you noticed, because you mentioned that you initially you didn't even know that there was a problem, but when you started noticing that there was a problem, were there things that you tried on your own to see, okay, let me adjust here, let me try this, let me try that, before you came into TIP, or came in contact with TIP?
Thank you very much. So at that point, I knew things were not the way they should be, especially in this climb. But at the same time, I wasn't intentionally going out to seek the knowledge at that time. But I
Mm.
knew things were not the way they should be. But each time I come across anything that spoke to parenting, I was very eager to either read or watch or just learn, because myself too, I'm all for knowledge. I love learning new things. So somehow I came across TIP on Facebook, and it was at first not even for inner circle or anything. It was for family media guide and family meeting guide that they were selling at that time. So I just said, I'm like, oh, this is nice, media guide and meeting guide. Okay. I wanted to buy. So I started, reaching out. I got the number of the Facebook. I reached out. Coach responded. And then another post she made was about her husband's book on marriage. I forgot what the topic was. It was I think that was his first book, something about building your marriage or something like that.
Marriage plan.
So they said
Mm-hmm.
building the marriage plan. So I saw that I usually love anything that has to do with parenting, family, but I wasn't going out to look for anything extra. It was whatever I came across that, as long as it looked good and it sounded good, I went with it. So when I saw her and saw the post and I started following her, I bought those materials, I was using them, and gradually things were changing. Before then, I employed screen as babysitter when my kids were troubling me and I didn't want to be bothered, or I'm tired, or I'm doing something important. Once you give them screen, they're happy. They don't
We're
bother
all
you
guilty.
anymore. you know. And then at that point too, my parents were here, and I noticed that once I'm out of the house, they don't even want to be bothered about. They just push this screen. Everybody's okay, they are fine as long as they are eating and drinking. So when I got down, I started reading. Okay, I was getting more aware. And funny enough, my parents didn't let us watch TV like that. In fact, when you heard their honking or they open the door, everybody is disappearing. You don't want to be caught watching TV at all, especially when it's not even what they will approve of. But then it now became the babysitter all of a sudden, and everybody was flowing with it. So thankfully, I got the media guide at that point. Of course, they were not on social media, even up to now. There was nothing of like being on the internet, but YouTube for what it is. There's a lot of rubbish. There's good, there's bad, and then we just give them these things, and they are just, it's just like when you give a kid a car and just say, okay, get on the highway, you don't know what they are watching, you don't know. Of course, you're not even there watching it with them because you are busy doing your important stuff in your mind. So that really helped me. And then I just started to follow more. And then they said, oh, they're having a VIP inner circle, something, something. Would you like to? Immediately I jumped on it. I said, okay, it's a group. Yeah, I'm all for it because I was already getting, value. I was already getting new knowledge and it was working. So that was the point where I wasn't one of those people that they preach and push and do all manner and drag them in. No, my own, I was ready markets.
Of course. Thank you so much, ma'am. I completely agree with you. And I know that most of us here are here because personally, nobody talked to me about TIP. And just when you get to the point where that nudge for you to to assume a higher call for where your parenting is, I'm sure we wouldn't need much nudging. So this message is out there for as many that haven't actually come to that understanding that parenting is a ministry. Parenting is one of the core things God will ask us about on the last day. So it's not something to toil with. It's not something to do life or how we say it here, you wing it. So thank you for sharing that. And I guess uh, uh, my co-host Bumi, I think you have the floor for the next question for her.
Yes, I actually already asked the next question, but I mean, did you have another question after that, or I can ask
Okay.
another one?
Oh, yeah, of course. Actually, I think my network has been pulling me out of but it's okay. So,
Yes.
like I also want to correct impression. Here we actually have been talking about moms, because we're kind of the primary contact the parents, the kids see. But I mean, this by extension actually goes beyond the moms, which we're advocating for. So subsequent series, we should be talking about parents. So we can also have but truth be told, whoever is minding a child have this page for you. As we are heading towards our summit, I believe being a journey, just like you have your road trips, you should have a way to recharge your system. And I think one of the ways to recharge our system is to continue to embrace community of like minds, like we have the summit that is coming up. It's a break for you to go and recharge. It's a break for you to have an opportunity to, meet hand in hand with people who are doing journey with you. So that being said, the next question I'll ask you, ma'am, is okay. So when what were some of the shifts you noticed internally? I mean, in your household, having applied these principles that you've enumerated, the things that eventually you put into place. What were the first things you noticed, and how was your household? How did they feel it? Generally, and how is it for you?
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, like I said earlier, I was not self-aware at all. I was just going. So when I started following coach and I was seeing the kind of, getting all this new knowledge and learning, working on myself, I started learning how to be self-aware. I started learning emotional intelligence. I had very low frustration tolerance, and I'm very gentle. Everybody around me growing up from secondary school, university days, they all knew me as the very gentle type. But then as soon as I became a parent, it was like the opposite. I would yell when I get frustrated, I would scream, you know. So I started becoming self-aware that, doing this is not helpful for them. It's not even helpful for me. And to be honest, we kind of knew these things, but it was normal. The normalized nonsense that coach talks about, it became normal because that was all we knew. So I now recognized that this is not good for me. It's not good for my children. It's not good for my family. My husband is easygoing. Is very easygoing. So it felt like me that was the gentle one was now the one who was just, doing all the trouble, especially when it came to kids in the name of, being strict, and like my mom is very strict too. So I started learning about emotional intelligence. I saw that I was very low on that. It was in the beginning, it was very shameful for me. I was like, I used to be very gentle, but I didn't know that I had this issue. So I was able to begin to deal with myself, because what you don't know, if you don't know you have a problem, there's no way you can solve it. So I began to work on myself.
Oh,
I began to attend all the courses. And then when I see even other courses outside, I, took the classes. I made sure I was reading. My kids too were reading. We have a house full of books. Everywhere is books. My kindergartner recently got a super reader award from his kindergarten graduation. So we were reading, so it became a norm, and we are still on the journey. I'm not saying I'm 100% there, but I'm not where I used to be. Things that would,
For sure.
trigger me in the past. Now, when I see them, I just, move on, because now I
You give
understand that
grace.
nobody has died, and I'm extending grace, and I'm telling my kids to extend grace before you scream, because it too, my first son and even the younger ones, they started yelling, and he will be yelling on the younger ones, so it now became like a wildfire spreading. But thankfully, God was able to help us, quench the fire before he got out of hand through the inner circle and everything we do daily, the tools and, the seminars. I just plugged myself into it. All my kids know Coach Wendy. When they see it's Coach Wendy, I told them I was traveling. They said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to see Coach Wendy. Coach Wendy is coming to America." My daughter wanted to come. So it has really transformed me in many ways. I used to be the very shy person, gentle, but now the kind of things I'm doing without anxiety, things that it was so bad that when I was in grad school, if they ask any question and other people are answering and I wanted to be part of the discussion, my heart will be pounding. Like, this is anxiety, because I knew I wanted to talk. I'll be so scared, even though I knew what I wanted to say. But because of that shyness, I'll be so scared to talk. So over time, I was working on myself. I was understanding that nobody is out to kill anybody. Nobody is out to, hunt anybody. It's free. And, environmentally, everybody is free. So I started releasing myself, and the calmness, started coming. All the things that are bottled up, I was able to ease them off. And
Yes,
honestly, emotional intelligence, you don't go anywhere without it. It's like a flat tire. You can't move without it.
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ma. And honestly, I resonate with you when you say that those of us who everybody for the several years of our lives have considered us as quiet, as gentle, we don't talk, we don't shout, we are patient. But the moment we became parents is like the stopper, the pressure cooker stopper that was stopping it before just came off. And we exploded. I mean, I so resonate with that. I could not recognize myself. And for me, that was actually the one of the kickers that led me to a place of, oh, I need to do something differently. Because I just realized that, yes, no, this cannot be it. My children cannot continue to experience me like this. So I so resonate with that. Thank you for sharing that, vulnerably, and letting us into that, because that's so true. So I'll go on just to follow up on the questions, because you mentioned some really, really key things there. And if I may ask, how now that, of course, the theme of our upcoming summit is time, right? Now that you've been in the inner circle, of course, for a couple of years now, how would you say the inner circle has helped you approach time and energy differently? So not just as a mom, but just as a person in general.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, managing time and energy was something I wasn't doing too well on either. And thank God that it was one of the major things coach would usually address in the inner circle. Um, I'll go back a little bit to my background. My mom made us wake up very early. We would also have woken up in the middle of the night, especially if you happen to sleep in our room that night. We will pray at night, and the prayers were not short. So I had made up my mind that the moment I step out of this house, there's no more waking up early. I'm done. I like to sleep.
Yes.
So I will wake up 7, 8. Sometimes I'm still on the bed at 10, especially on weekends if
Mm-hmm.
I'm going nowhere. So I was doing that. I didn't see anything wrong in that until I started, learning about managing my time and energy and how I could
Yes.
have used that time that I was just sleeping away to do better things to improve myself. And then
Yes.
inner circle made you read. I've always been a reader, but then when children started coming and then the pressures of life, reading took the back seats.
The back
There's no
seat.
way,
Yes.
I could even barely do my devotion, talk less of reading. I would just
Mm.
pray, you know,
Mm.
and listen to sermons on YouTube and things
Mm-hmm.
like that, other than going to
Mm-hmm.
church services. So
Mm-hmm.
joining inner circle, you will read. There's no how you will do it. You even do book review. So how will you not read? You know?
Yes.
So that's helped me, and I was able to um cultivate that habit of being able to do things according to time. I used to boast to my some of my co-workers back then that I was friends with at previous jobs. I remember one particular one, she's Jamaican. I'll be like, anything that has to do with routine that you have to do consistently, you can't find me there. I'm not that kind of person. I don't like to have to be tied to something. In some
Uh-huh.
ways, it was good, but in 90% of the ways, it was bad. You have to be
Mm.
consistent. You have to be able to
Mm.
follow through.
Yeah.
It's so bad that even wedding ring, you have to wear it every day, right? My own
Mm-hmm.
lives in the bag. I put it on when I remember. My inconsistency was that, and it wasn't for any reason. It was just because anything that you have to wear or that you have to do every
Do
day,
every
time and
day.
again and
Yes.
again, it
Yes.
it, it bothers me kind of.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I wasn't used to that, and I
Yes.
think it was more of a personal issue. So I
Mm-hmm.
started dealing with that. I started trying to get myself into routines. I didn't believe in routines in the past. You just do it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
at any time, anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Mm-hmm.
no consistent sleep time.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we sleep
Mm-hmm.
is when we get to go to bed. We can
Mm-hmm.
eat anytime. We can,
Yeah.
it was just
Mm-hmm.
living in our anyhowness.
Yeah, the harness,
So with
yes.
TIP came more structure. Again, I'm not the saint here. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
100%. I'm a work in
Mm-hmm.
progress myself, and I'm making
All of
sure
us.
to build upon it, line upon
Yes.
line, making sure
Yes.
I'm improving by the day.
Yes.
So I put in more structure. I was able to start following a routine. Okay, at this
Mhm.
time, this is what we should do. I made a
Yes.
timetable for all our, daily activities.
Mm-hmm.
Made sure it was something the kids too could understand. We did rosters for
Yes.
chores. We have done
Yes.
that in the past, but it never worked. But now we're able to follow
Mm-hmm.
it more
Mm.
judiciously. It added more
Yes.
structure to my life. Around
Yes.
when I started TIP at first, I was in a business. So when COVID happened, I couldn't continue because I had to stay
Mm.
home, and then school stopped. I wasn't doing a lot of work then too.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just home, and then because I didn't have structure, I couldn't continue that business. I wish I had learned
Mm.
structure earlier. I would have been able
Mm.
to continue and would have been, you know, doing much more better. But that
Yes.
ended, and then when I finished school and I I'd already, learned more about structure. I was able to, inculcate that in everything I was doing. At work now, I do um, I do have to manage my time effectively because
Mm,
I see patients all day long. You have to complete notes. But a lot of times, and a lot of people are not able to complete their notes during the day. They take the work
mhm,
back home to complete it. So
mm,
that also eats into family time. So because
yeah.
I'm learning about structure, I try as much as possible to complete my notes while I'm still at work. If I'm
Mhm,
bringing anything home, it's not going to be something a lot, and it will be something that I can do maybe while people are asleep or wake up early the next morning. And then,
yes.
sometimes coach will just mention something along the way. She mentioned 5 a.m. club. It wasn't for my cohorts, but it
Mhm,
sounded like something very reasonable and something good for me. I got the book, I read it. Since that day, I went and set my alarm. I was waking up 6:30, and then we'll rush, and there'll be a lot of chaos, and then we'll go to school, and then I go to work. I started waking up early. I showered even before the kids woke up, and then things became more easier in the mornings. Our mornings were
mhm,
not as chaotic as it used to
yeah.
be.
Mm,
Sometimes one or two things will still come up, but we'll take it as it comes. It won't be
yeah.
as pressurizing as it was
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
past. So time and energy management is helping me at work, is helping me at home. It's helping me in every area of my life.
That is awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Mama. I think one of the key things that I picked up as well when I started TIP was the consistency, the structure, and how it's made me. I mean, the self-awareness was real for me. I realized that,
It's real.
as we say, I was coming from a lot when it comes to consistency. Consistency as a skill was zero for me.
Mhm.
Zero. And so only by the grace of God am I even getting there. As you say, we're all a work in progress. And so, but that's why we're so grateful that we're in this space, that we're connected to this community where we can learn and we can grow. And, that's why we're doing this, sharing our stories to tell everyone how good this is. Um, so over to you, Miss Noye, for your next question. Okay, looks like.
All right. I think we'll be rounding up now because would want to be respectful of everybody's time. And like we say in Inner Circle, I think one of the greatest things, like I will always say, is that I, at myself as being parented right now, and coming from that perspective, it helps me to understand that the gaps that we are actually struggling with as adults were gaps that were left unattended to as children. And so the first thing that happens to you when you come to TIP, to be honest, is self-awareness. And that's the greatest gift. You begin to understand who you are. You begin to understand your strengths, your weakness, and the areas you actually need working. And that
Mhm,
helps you to extend grace to people when you see gaps in them, because we are
mhm,
all on a journey. And
mm,
the beautiful part of this whole journey is the community we have. I believe that's one of the greatest gifts that TIP gives you. I'm so grateful for the system. I'm so grateful for Coach Wendy, and she has redefined what you know consistency. She has redefined what diligence is. She has redefined all that is possible as a human being, and that's one of the things that I believe have kept most of us here. And looking forward to seeing her in person is one of the greatest gifts for my family, because as we speak, you're saying your daughter wants to join. My whole family is coming. so we want to receive, so that it's not just me receiving the thing, because when you are talking solo, it become like so everybody. just come, So that's why we're extending this invitation to as many families that really want to have a transformation, because it's not just about existing, For anything to thrive, there has to be something that makes it to thrive. There are some things that are required, systems and structures. We've been seeing systems and structures here because that's the reality, and that's what most of us are gaining from the system. And so we're inviting everyone. And before I do that, I would like Asian Yada to, give us her last words concerning her experience and, generally for our coming summit. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so
Your
much,
last
ma'am.
words.
Thank you. So I want to say that it will be a great disadvantage for any parent in this time and age to refuse knowledge. And this is not even mere knowledge, it is superior knowledge. Because parenting is the bedrock of everything. If anything goes wrong with parenting, it will show in the society. It will show. If it doesn't start showing now, expect it on the long run. And a lot of times it shows up where it is not expected. We have every resources at our disposal now. So if we fail to make good use of it, it will be a very, very disastrous thing. So I'm imploring everybody, especially us Nigerians here. Parenting is for everybody, but our own is peculiar because our parents didn't have access to the kind of knowledge we have now. They did their best. So if we have all this at our disposal and we still fail to use it, then it's going to be on us. So I'm going to implore everybody, as much as you can, let us key into this resource, this wonderful, this beautiful, this magnificent results that God has provided for us in our generation. PIP. Let us maximize the benefits so that we can build a better today and a better future for the coming generation and for ourselves. The future we build for ourselves for today is what we'll benefit from when we get old. If we don't build anything now, it's going to wait for us. It's going to haunt us in the future. May that not be our portion in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you very much, ma'am. Like Coach Wendy would always say, God forbid is not a strategy. You are raising a good child is not a strategy. It's not my portion, it's not a strategy. The truth is that we all are raising children in a generation that where we were coming from no longer exists. But some of our parents, some of us are still under the illusion that the way we were raised is tantamount to what we are facing right now. When we were raised, some of us didn't have television. The privileged few that had television had only access to NTA that starts at 4 p.m. if I'm not wrong. And so you have a child who has a telephone put in his pocket, like the world in his pocket. And we are shouting here right now, sex education, sex education. I don't know how many of us are taking it serious. I don't know how many of us think that we have known all that there is to know. And I don't know how many of us are still thinking that we turned out okay. To be honest, did you really turn out okay, according to Coach? So before we round up this meeting, I'll be asking for as many that are in the diaspora in the US. If you're hearing me, I would implore you to give a chance to this summit and see what happens differently. Some of us are not here, not like we don't have anything doing, but because we have gained the advantage we have has given us the opportunity, the training we have received has given us the opportunity to be here with you and to tell you about what we are experiencing. We're not telling you cunningly devised fables. We're telling you real life stories about our experiences. And I hope somebody, one person, will take the action today to be able to say yes and come and hear for yourself. If you're not able to join us physically, we have a virtual link right there on your comments or right there in the block on the screen. Join us virtually, share to your friends, whether you are in the US or not in the US. I believe what we are talking about here is beyond borders. We have raising kings. We all have children all over the world. And so join us and see if this what we are saying is true or if it's not true. Have your own experience and have your own stories. I believe one of the greatest advantage we'll have as in this time is knowledge and applying the knowledge we have. And so Bumi, I think I'll give you a chance to have your last words before we log off.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sonia. I mean, just to crown what we've said already and emphasized already, knowledge is an investment, and I want us to consider anytime you seek knowledge, you go out to buy knowledge, as scripture actually says, it is an investment in yourself now, and also an investment in your future. And not just your future, but the future of the generations after you. Ms. Naya said something that is not as if those of us on this call don't have busy lives and things that we're doing, but we come here because we have gained some knowledge and we don't want to keep it to ourselves. We want to invest back in our communities. We want to invest back in our society. We want our families, our friends, our neighbors, to also be a part, because as Ms. Anu also said, the health of a nation, of a society, starts from the home. It starts from the parenting. It starts from the upbringing. And many of us have come from, a background or a situation where we didn't have that knowledge. We didn't have the right skills built in us. And right now we're in a place of gaining that knowledge and reparenting ourselves. So we don't have any excuse in our own generation. So let's key in by being a part of events like this summit, wherever you are. The information is available. Connect with us. Come and join us. Being there physically is going to be like none other. I understand those who will not be able to be there for one good reason or the other. They can join us virtually, and we'll give them as much as we can. But being there physically in the room is going to be like none other. We will connect with parents, with speakers, with thought leaders who have been on this journey as well for a long time. And so we would encourage you to come and join us in the DMV area in Maryland. I am in Maryland, so come and join us. We're looking forward to having you on the 12th of July. And it's going to be big. It's going to be impactful. It's going to be powerful. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you.
Thank you. All right. You've all heard it. I'm sure you're thinking, how do I be part of the plan? I'm just on July 12th. That's where it's going. I don't know if the US knows what's coming to them. I don't know, but you want to be there. was happening on July 12th. So please click on the button, contact us on the phone, use our tickets. It's shared all over media. Get in touch, get your ticket, and grab your seat today. Don't waste further time. And so July 12th is it, and we'll be live with our dear coach, Coach Wendy, with Gov, with Coach Ebuka. Please come with your family. We have a care space for as many families that can on the list right now. All these materials are out there, and please get in touch and begin to make your way to Maryland. We have a formidable committee team who are working tirelessly behind the scene, making sure that. And by the way, we'll be having an evening night, an evening sit out with Coach. A casual evening. You don't want to miss some of the things. I don't want to release everything, but just make your way to Maryland, and it will be something that you will thank me for later. So our summit really starts on Friday evening, when we'll have a sit out with Coach, family, children, come with everyone. Just call it a weekend getaway and a parenting shoot as well. That's what I choose to call it. And you'll be glad you did. So thank you so much, ladies. Thank you, Aisha, Miss Anu. Thank you for your time. I know how much it took you for you to be here. Thank you, Mrs. Bomia. We are very grateful. All the work and all the brain behind our very much. And to the committee of the USA committee, I can't thank you all enough. You've been tremendous, and it's been a great time working with you. Even when I have to disturb you all this while, thank you so much for the opportunity. We are really very grateful to be on this exalted. Next Wednesday on this same topic with a great ancient elders as well. Come and enjoy with us. So thank you very much as we sign out now. Good day. Bye.
Maryland, are you ready? On July 12th, for the first time ever in the US, Coach Wendy Ologe will be hosting the Intentional Parents Summit in Glenburnie, Maryland. The theme of this groundbreaking summit? Time, the currency of a kingmaker.
So what can you expect? Parenting insights that will completely transform the way you raise your children, a mindset shift to help you maximize time, the greatest asset of a kingmaker, support and encouragement from a thriving community of like-minded parents who are on the same journey, exclusive access, and the unique opportunity to engage with a world-class parenting coach, Africa's #1 and internationally recognized thought leader and the author of 20 books on parenting.
This is more than a conference. It's going to be amazing and insightful, a life-changing experience. You don't want to miss it. I will be there.
How to register? Click the link below or follow the instructions on the screen to pay your general admission investment of only $130, which includes delicious food, because why not? Great transformation is fueled by good food. If you want to receive VIP treatment for only $200, get all the general admission perks plus priority seating, access to an exclusive VIP mixer with Coach Wendy, and a gift bag that includes a bunch of goodies, including her latest book, The Kingmaker, exclusively autographed just for you.
Can't make it in person? No problem. Just grab the virtual pass for only $30 and join us from anywhere. Click the link below or follow the instructions on your screen to register now before tickets sell out. I will certainly be there. Will you?
I will definitely be there.